I gotta say the old Q50 has treated me pretty well, but over the last 4 years of ownership, there are a number of things that have stood out to me that I just can't stand. I don't normally worry about fuel mileage. It's a big V6. I had reasonable expectations with this car, but what really drives me crazy, 14.8 miles a gallon. I normally average about 21 miles per gallon. I just reset this calculator on the way to work this morning. I drive mostly interstate to the office. I was at over 23 miles a gallon. I just sat here and idled for just a minute or two, and it's dropped down to below 15. Now, people will say, again, it's a big V6. Of course, it's going to be a gas guzzler. No, it's not. On the interstate, I can get 30 miles to the gallon. This is with bolt-ons and a tune. If I idle for just a minute, the mileage just drops like a brick. This thing sucks fuel at idle. Maybe it's the tune, maybe it's the car. I don't know, but I don't like it. My wife's Ford Explorer, 3.5 liter, 6-cylinder, twin turbo. We idle for hours. Literally, on our last road trip to Minnesota, we'd idle for an hour in the parking lot at a rest stop, and the miles per gallon did not change. It just sips the fuel to keep that thing idling. Unbelievable. The old Q50, just drinking it. Aside from the screen being a dust magnet, I can't remember the last time I touched it or used any of the buttons. It's just kind of worthless. For the amount of money and the resources they put into giving us these dual screens that have been in this car for a decade now at this point, they could have saved all that and given us some nice materials for the seats, like actual leather rather than this crappy vinyl. So there's two things that annoy me. Here's something. You guys might notice that I have this vent blocked off. Well, that's because my blend door actuator has gone out, and I'm blowing cold air just out on the passenger side. So that's something that annoys me. Something like that shouldn't go out, but it is. So stay tuned for the blend door actuator replacement video coming up soon on Speed Culture Studios. This is annoying. The chrome in the car, of course, is not real chrome. It's like a foil, and on the edges of certain things it starts to peel up. Been very careful to try to maintain this, but nonetheless, there we go. There's evidence of it. Well, I have paddle shifters like a lot of you do, but one thing that's always annoyed me about these Infinitis is that if you're going to go in manual mode and you have to use the shifter, up is forward, downshift is backwards. That's the opposite of what it's supposed to be. I mean, everybody that knows anything knows that when all the torque is pushing you back in your seat, you got to be able to pull the shifter back to shift up to the next gear. You can't be pushing it forward. There's too much force holding you back in these Q50s to be able to push the shifter forward. It's impossible. You got to be able to pull it back like a sequential transmission. To be able to pull the shifter back to shift up. Forward is downshift. That's how it is in performance cars. Apparently not in Nissan Infiniti cars. Weird. How about this one? Wet windows. You guys know what I'm talking about. Ooh, that's not even as bad as it gets. Kind of always bothered me as well. These pillar trim pieces always fade and get spotty really fast. I know it happens on all vehicles, but it seems like Nissan Infiniti cars, these things really go bad really quickly. I put a lot of effort into maintaining the paint and the overall appearance of this vehicle. So I waxed these, sealed these, polished these, and they still go bad. It's almost like you can't protect them. It's annoying. And speaking of that, I don't know any other car that uses softer paint or softer clear than Nissan Infiniti cars. Literally using a soft microfiber rag, high quality microfiber rag, it will leave scratches, swirl marks wiping this down. I know it's black and that doesn't help, but it is really frustrating how soft this is. Literally anything will leave a swirl, scratch, scuff, a mark on Nissan Infiniti paint. It drives me insane. Another thing I feel like I need to add is, although I respect the fact that this VQ37 platform has been refined very well over the last several years, nearly a decade or so, I feel like after everything you add to this car, you need to retune. It just feels like it's that sensitive. Like you change the filters out or you clean the filters, the car doesn't run as strong as it should. I feel like if you change a little piece of the exhaust system, you have to retune because it just doesn't feel right. It's got a tummy ache. Just little things like that almost requires you to readdress the tune in this car. It's a little bit funky. Is that just me, or you guys notice that as well? I mean, it really sensitive to the fact that if you put cold air intakes on in the car, will throw a check engine light and won't run right. And that's probably the case for a lot of modern cars these days, but it's just I don't know, just something I don't like. Another thing I can't stand in any car really is a light colored headliner. So, but you guys know I started to take care of that problem. I wrapped these A-pillars here with this nice black suede or Alcantara, right? Faux Alcantara. But it looks good. And this way, it doesn't distract me. It doesn't take away my attention. I almost forget there's this light colored headliner above me, and that looks so good. And then the other thing is, from the outside of the car, when I take photos, I don't see the light colored pillar here through the windshield. It's just black on the inside. I much prefer that. I'm happy with it. Check that video out if you haven't seen it already. Not so bad so far, but I gotta end with one final thing that I think it's weird. Now, you're able to edit user or select user or create users in this car, but it doesn't even do anything. I would think that if you have an intelligent key and you're linked to the car and it has your profile saved, that it would save your settings. For example, I could get in, you could save your seat position based on your key fob, you could save the drive mode rather than having to get in every time and change it to sport or personal. If me as driver one got in this car and it detected the intelligent key, right, it would automatically put it in personal mode for me with active trace control off. And if my daughter were to ever drive this car, which she never would, but if she were to ever drive the car, she might have key fob number 2. It would put it in eco mode or snow mode or something like that with active trace control on, of course, and it would just be set to her settings. I don't even have the user set up here because it doesn't do anything. It's pointless. I have found no need for it. If it doesn't choose seat position for you, or it doesn't choose drive mode for you, it really doesn't choose any setting. It's just pointless. I don't know, maybe you guys in the higher trim level Q50s have that capability. Let me know in the comments below, but as far as my Q50 goes, it doesn't. It's stupid. Why even have it in there? Well, I made a video about the things that I didn't really like about this car shortly after purchasing it, so go check that one out if you're interested, or if you're in the market. Or you want to commiserate with me and you don't like the same things about this car. But I thought after 4 years of ownership, a couple of things stood out to me still, or I noticed a couple of things over these last few years that I didn't notice right out of the gate. So I thought I'd make a quick little video about them. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about your Q50s or Q60s or any car for that matter, and what you do or don't like about them. I'm always interested to hear your feedback and your input. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate the continued support. More stuff coming for the Q50, more stuff coming for the 350Z. It's going to be a good fall, and we're planning some things. We're planning some more stuff too. So stick around. Hope you guys will subscribe and follow along. Appreciate it. See you in the next one.